Did that mean? Okay, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. And Chag Sukkot Sameach.
Chag Sameach.
Happy Sukkot, which is an appropriate greeting since Sukkot is also known as Zman Simchatenu, our season of joy. We get through the serious Rosh Hashanah and the serious Yom Kippur, and then we now have Sukkot, which is a holiday about joy. And we will talk more about that later, but before we do, let's sing about how amazing it is that we are all together. Hine Matov is our opening song, and you can find it on page 10 if you are in the sanctuary.
Sounds good. Hine Matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. One more time. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Shalom aleichem, salam aleikum. Shalom aleichem, salam aleikum. Shalom aleichem, salam aleikum. Shalom aleichem, salam aleikum. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad.
We are going to head into our blessings over the candles and the Kiddush, but we are going to add in some special inserts for the festival. So we are going to turn to page 3. We are all going to read together the O Source piece. If you would like to come up and light candles yourself, you can do so. We have them on both sides. You can bring your books with you. What I will say is when we get to the Hebrew, in addition to saying Shel Shabbat, we will also say Shel Yom Tov. So we can all read together. O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love. That didn't want to work.
There we go. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner Shel Shabbat v'Shel Yom Tov. And because it's the first day of the holiday, we're going to add the Shehechianu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. Amen.
After we read together on page 4 in the English, we will recite the Kiddush. There will also be inserts for the festival in the Hebrew. The heaven and the earth were finished in all their array. On the seventh day, God finished the work that God had been doing, and God stopped on the seventh day from all the work that God had done. And God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, because on that day God ceased from all the work of creation that God had done.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol omrom amanu mikol hashon v'kidshanu b'mitzvotav. V'titem lanu Adonai Eloheinu b'ahava, Shabbatot limnucha umoadim lesimcha, chagim uzmanim lesason. Et yom hashabbat hazeh ve'et yom chag hasukot hazeh, zman simchatenu mikrai kodesh, zecher letziat mitzrayim, kivanu v'charta ve'otanu kidashta mikol hamim, v'shabbat umoadei kodechecha, be'ahava uvratzon besimcha uvsason hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh hashabbat v'Yisrael v'hazmanim.
Our opening reading can be found on page 8. I chose this reading for 2 reasons. One is because I'm a huge fan of gratitude in general, but 2 is because one of the values that ties so nicely with Sukkot is gratitude. It is our festival and edition of joy, of gratitude. We often call it the Jewish Thanksgiving. However, we should really call Thanksgiving the American Sukkot, because when our forefathers founded this country, they were well aware of what they called the Old Testament, what we would call the Hebrew Bible, and so they were aware of the holiday of Sukkot, and they wanted a holiday to offer gratitude, and so they modeled Thanksgiving off of Sukkot. So in addition to celebrating, it is also the final of the 3 pilgrimage festivals, and we are grateful for all of the harvests we have had through the year, because in ancient times this was not the beginning of the year, but it was the end of the year. The beginning of the year was actually Passover. Nisan was the first month, and so we're now about 6 months in, and we're ending our harvest festival. So we are on page 8. I begin with a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. God needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no semantics, and no services, but I need them. Through prayer, I can sense my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, my capacity to love. As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. To love God is to love each other, to work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world God created and to work to perfect it. To love God is to love dreams of peace and joy that illumine us all and to bring that vision to life. We rise as able for Baruch Hu on page 28.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Vaed.
Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. Page 34.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadavarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavcha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivdecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot beineinecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha Leman tizkeru ve'asitem et kol mitzvotai vitem kedoshim lelohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lihiyot lachem lelohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem.
So as I said before, the biblical year began with Passover, with the month of Passover with Nisan. And if you think about the pilgrimage festivals, they really tell the story of our Exodus. Passover celebrates our Exodus from slavery in Egypt to freedom in the Promised Land. So we leave Egypt. And then one of the first things we do along the journey is we receive the 10 Commandments, which hits the second of our pilgrimage festivals, Shavuot. And then Sukkot, which really symbolizes our wandering in the desert, which have these impermanent structures, which we would create communities wherever we went. Plus, while we were wandering, as we would gather crops so that we didn't have to come in at the end of the day, we would create these temporary structures. And so if you really think about our Exodus journey, it is Passover with the Exodus, the giving of the 10 Commandments, and then our journey throughout the desert in this temporary community until we can find permanence in the Promised Land. And the joy that we felt as we sing Mi Chamocha, because we are finally free, is the same joy we feel at this holiday of Sukkot, because it is the end of our Exodus journey and we are about to enter into the Promised Land, and with the gratitude that we offer for another good crop season. So we continue with Mi Chamocha on page 40.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh. Nora tehilot osef ele, Nora tehilot osef ele, Adonai yimloch מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקי הים לפני משה ומרים. זה אלינו ואמרו, זה אלינו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai.
We don't relegate the sukkah just to Sukkot. We actually talk about a Sukkat Shalom every evening, a sukkah of peace that we hope will shelter us each evening as we lie down. And so in lieu of our Hashkivenu, or as a version of our Hashkivenu prayer this evening, we are going to sing Sukkah by Rick Recht, which is not found in your prayer book. So listen, and I'm sure you'll be able to join along.
Ufros aleinu Sukkat Shalom, Sukkat Chofesh Lehov ve'lilmod, Sukkat Nefesh Lehakshiv ve'lashir, Sukkah lechabed et ha'bar ve'ha'atid. Ufros aleinu Sukkat Shalom, Sukkat Shalom, Sukkat Shalom. Spread over us a shelter of peace, a shelter of freedom, to love and to learn, a shelter of spirit, to listen and to sing, a shelter to honor where we've been and where we'll be. Ufros aleinu Sukkat Shalom, Sukkat Shalom, Sukkat Shalom, Sukkat Shalom, Sukkat Shalom. Ufros aleinu Sukkat Shalom.
That is the prayer we recite every evening. And then the prayer we recite only on Shabbat evenings is Vishamru, which reminds us that one of the ways that we know we have a relationship with God, one of the signs of that relationship is the Shabbat. Let's sing Vishamru together on page 44.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam brit olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam brit olam. Ve'ni Asa Adonai, Asa Adonai, et hashamayim ve'et haaretz, ubayom hashvi Shabbat vayinafash, ve'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת.
We rise in body or in spirit for the tefillah on pages 46 through 52.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekoneh HaKol, Vezocher Chasdei Avot Ve'imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol atah, Rav lehoshia. Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim ve'rofech olim. Umatir asurim, umekayem emunato, lishenei afar, michamocha ba'al gevurot, umido melach, melech meimit umechaye, umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah lehachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechaye hakol.
Before we continue, we're going to add in a reading for Sukkot. Your might, O God, renews the earth. With dewdrops of light and blessing, let the earth be illumined and blessed. With dewdrops of joy and delight, let the earth rejoice and sing out. With dewdrops of life and well-being, let the earth be revived and improved. With dewdrops of redemption, let the earth be redeemed.
Livracha velo liklala, lesova velo lerazon. Livracha velo liklala. Livracha velo liklala, lesova velo lerazon. Livracha glala, lesova velo lerazon, livracha velo liglala.
Page 56. So Ukrainian.
It's okay, I have your wrong reading.
Huh?
Nothing, go ahead.
Okay.
You're good. Oh. It's a little different on Sukkot, isn't it?
It is. It's okay.
Okay. Eternal our God, remember us. Amen. Be mindful of us. Amen. And redeem us for a life of goodness and blessing. Amen. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
You may be seated as we continue on page 55 together. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle to find rest on this day, may all who suffer find solace, may all who hurt find healing on this day, may all who despair find purpose, may all who hunger find fulfillment on this day, and may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh HaShabbat. We offer our prayer for peace, Shalom Rav. We offer we think about as we offer this prayer for peace, all which we are grateful for this week. For those at home, if you feel like offering that in the chat, you are welcome to do so.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Lechol hashalom, shalom rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Tasim leolam.
A few weeks back, it could have been a few months, I've lost track of time, I sat in a doctor's office and she gave me 3 options for care. And I said, well, I went to rabbinical school, not medical school, so I think I'm going to need your guidance. Care and cure is in the hands of the doctors. But what's amazing is healing can be in all of our hands. Each one of us has the power to heal. Just letting somebody know that we care about them, that we are there for them, that we know that they are hurting, and we are standing by their side while they do so, makes all the difference in the world. And that's what the Misha Berach prayer is about. Because while it may not fix what is the cause of the problem, it certainly makes getting through whatever it is that much easier. So as my hand passes across the congregation, if there is somebody for whom you would like to offer healing, you may say their name aloud. You can put it in the chat if you are at home.
Jane, Fred, Sue, and our Maui Ohana.
For all the names we said aloud, for all the people we hold in our hearts, and for all those in the world who are in need of healing, we offer our Misha Berach prayer found on page 253.
May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishe Berach Imotenu, Makor HaBracha Le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
We take a moment for personal silent prayer and reflection.
May the words of my mouth
Sukkot.
Yay.
So one of our customs when we go out to the sukkah, and there will be another lulav and etrog, is to recite the blessing and to shake the lulav and etrog together, which together are known as the 4 species. If you're going to ask why these plants, it's because it is written in the Torah that it is these 4. You hold the lulav in your right hand, the etrog in your left hand. You're supposed to hold it with the pitom, that's this little stem thing, down, because this is how it grows on a tree. And the blessing we recite is actually for picking the etrog, and so you don't want to say a blessing in vain, so you hold it, and then you flip it up, and then you shake it together. So we have a little reading. Then we will recite the blessing together if you know it. The second blessing is familiar because we've already said it tonight. It's the first night of Sukkot. So what does that mean? Shehechianu. It's a Shehechianu moment. Into the sanctuary we have brought the symbols of Sukkot. The lulav with the palm that resembles the human spine to remind us that we can stand straight with courage and integrity. May we serve God by standing up for justice, truth, and peace. The myrtle, I always have to remember, shaped like eyes that can behold the grandeur and beauty of the universe. May we serve God by looking with kindness at every living being. The willow of the brook, whose leaves are shaped like human lips. May these lips sing God's praises and bless God's children. The etrog, shaped like the human heart. May we remember that love is the doorway through which we pass from selfishness to service, from loneliness to kinship with all the world. Spine and eyes and lips and heart come together as lulav and etrog. We wave them to the earth's 4 corners and toward heaven and earth. We are one with all the earth. So we'll now recite the blessing together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al netilat lulav.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Amen.
Forgot I wasn't attached.
Oh,
It's okay. We're good.
okay.
I was before. Now I'm not. Okay. So, there was a very special man who lived in a nondescript Eastern European town many years ago, and his name was Rabbi Pincus. And he was a legend in so many ways. And one of the things he was legendary for was his sukkah. If you got invited to Rabbi Pincus's sukkah, it was like the invitation of the year, because there was always such joy in it. Children would sit at his feet and ask questions and play games. Students would come to get just one more piece of learning. And people from all over town would bring the most delicious dishes to share with each other. And while this was great for the town for all 7 days of Sukkot, it was really no different than Rabbi Pincus's day, any other day of the year. He was beloved. And every day on his way to the schoolhouse, students would run to catch up with him so that they could walk with him just to get one more piece of learning. And the children would wait for him after school and after services so that he could play games with them. And for every holiday and every Shabbat, and even some just regular nights during the year, people in the town would bring him the most delicious dishes. And all of this brought Rabbi Pincus so much joy, but it also made him really nervous and anxious because he knew that in order to be a great rabbi, you had to write a book. Rashi wrote a book, Rambam wrote a book, all the ones who are remembered for decades and decades, they all wrote books. And he had been writing a book for years and was still on page 1. Because he couldn't ever get to the book because of all the students who were asking him questions and all the children who wanted to play games and all of the delicious food he felt obligated to eat because it had been brought from all of the members of his community. And so finally, one Yom Kippur, he offered a prayer. And he said, please, would you just let everybody leave me alone? I have to write this book, and I'm never going to do it if I'm constantly bothered. I need to just be left alone. And he heard the voice of God say, Rabbi Pincus, are you sure that's what you want? You want to be left alone? He said, I'm sure. I have to write a book. I have to be remembered. And so, services ended. Nobody came up to greet Rabbi Pincus. Nobody brought him food for the break the fast. He sat alone by himself with a piece of stale challah from the night before and some water. That was it. And the next morning, he was alone. And he decided he was going to work on this book. And he thought, and he thought, and he thought, and at the end of the day, where nobody bothered him, he still only had 1 page. And the next day, nobody came to help him build his sukkah. And he nailed his own thumb, and he hurt himself, but he got his sukkah up, and still nobody. And still only 1 page. And this went on all week until it was time to celebrate Sukkot, and he sat in his sukkah alone with no homemade food and no students, and quite frankly, no joy. And finally, on like day 3 of Sukkot, when he couldn't take the loneliness anymore, and he still, by the way, only had page 1 of his book, he finally decided he was going to call upon the Ushpizin, the 7 mystical guests that are supposed to accompany you in your sukkah, 1 each night. He started with Abraham, who should have been there on night 1. And Abraham showed up but would not enter the sukkah. And then he called Isaac, who should have been there on night 2. Same thing, stood outside but wouldn't come in. And then Jacob, and then Moses, and then Aaron, and King David, and King Solomon, and they all came, but nobody would enter the sukkah. And finally he prayed to God and he said, God, please come visit me in my sukkah. And God said, where my children are not welcome to enter, I will not enter either. And so finally, Rabbi Pincus thought about it, and he said, that's it. I don't want to be alone anymore. Bring back the students, and bring back the children, and bring back the food. And God said, are you sure? And he said, I am positive. And before he could get up from his prayer, the townspeople came, and there was food, and there was joy, and there was learning, and there was laughter. And never again was Rabbi Pincus alone. And from that day forward, if you got an invitation to Rabbi Pincus's sukkah on Sukkot, you knew you had the invitation of the year, and you were going to feel joy, and you were going to hear laughter, and you were going to learn something, and you were going to have some mighty, delicious food. And he never finished more than page 1 of his book, but he was remembered for truly understanding the joy of Sukkot and the joy of living. So Ushpizin is this concept we have had forever of these 7 mystical guests. They were all men. Then people said, oh, we should have some women too. And there was partners. Abraham and Sarah came together, and so on and so forth. And so every year around this time, in addition to thinking about all the things we're grateful for, we think about who we would welcome to our sukkah. So that's what I'm going to ask you to do tonight. You can get with a friend. Those of you who aren't sitting with anybody, I'm going to pass out some cards and some pens. And thank you, Rochelle, who copied and cut all these cards. We're going to give everybody at least one card. It says, who would you invite to your sukkah? No artistic ability necessary. You just have to write. And then what we're going to do is we're going to laminate them, and we're going to hang them in our sukkah. And you're going to help us decorate our sukkah right here, right now. We have more cards. We have clearly more than are here. We have more that we're going to use on Sunday. We have other questions if you come back to decorate on Sunday. Get some different colors going here. And you will be part of our sukkah decorating, so thank you. And you can get with a friend and have a conversation about living or dead. There's no limits on this conversation. I'm going to give you my favorite color. There you go. I'll give you my favorite color, too, because I know it's your favorite color. Look at you. I know. Anything for you, Madam President. I know, right? There's got to be some perks to the job, right? Did you get one or no? Here you go, ma'am. Uh-huh. Give you all about 2 minutes. And then my trusty Van White over here can pick up all your cards. What? The man and salmon, right? Coral salmon. I know, they're all thinking. It's not a test, you can talk to each other. There's no cheating if you talk to each other. Are you done? Oh, you even came equipped with your own pen. Uh-huh. Thanks. Okay, you don't have to. That's okay. Yep, still page one. That would be me. I can't write a book. Do lots of I can tell a story, I can't write a book. Deb's going to sing for us. You can always leave your cards up here when you're done, when services are done.
This is in your book. I'm trying to remember what page it's on. I want to say, sticking in my head that it's like 360 or something like that. It's in the back in the Zmirot and songs. Did I turn this on? I did. Okay. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time for every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to reap, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to laugh, a time to weep. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time for every purpose under heaven. A time to build up, a time to break down, a time to dance, a time to mourn, a time to cast away stones, a time to gather stones together. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time for for every purpose under heaven. A time of love, a time of hate, a time of war, a time of peace, a time that you may embrace, a time to refrain from embracing. To everything, turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, 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 and a time for every purpose under heaven. A time to gain, a time to lose, a time to rend, a time to sow, a time to love, a time to hate, a time for peace. I swear it's not too late. To everything, turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, 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 and a time for every purpose under heaven.
Thank you. And we, of course, sang that because that's from the book of Ecclesiastes.
Yes.
So, which we read traditionally on Sukkot. So, we always say the Megillah, which most people think of as the book of Esther, which is on Purim. But there are actually 5 Megillot, and they're read on Purim, the book of Esther, on Tisha B'Av, which is the book of Lamentations, and then on the 3 pilgrimage festivals. So on Sukkot, we read Ecclesiastes. On Passover, we read Song of Songs. And on Shavuot, we read Ruth.
Well done.
That's what happens when you teach the Jewish holiday. Intro to Judaism, it's all in your head. I'm getting ready to do it again. And we now continue on page 283 with Aleinu. Please rise. Let us adore the ever-living God and render praise unto you, who spreads out the heavens and established the earth, whose glory is revealed in the heavens above, and whose greatness is manifest throughout the world. You are our God, there is none else.
V'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad.
You may be seated. Page 288. When I die, give what's left of me away to children and old men that wait to die. And if you need to cry, cry out for your brother walking the street beside you. And when you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give me. I want to leave you something better than words or sounds. Look for me in the people I've known or loved. And if you cannot give me away, at least let me live in your eyes and not in your mind. You can love me best by letting hands touch hands, by letting bodies touch bodies, and by letting go of children that need to be free. Love doesn't die, people do. So when all that's left of me is love, give me away. This Shabbat, we commemorate the Yortzeit, the yearly anniversary of death, of Nathan Bluffstone, Philip J. Braff, Minna S. Bucksbaum, Dorothy Roth Cohn, Norman J. Danzig, Jack B. Dworkin, Oscar W. Fischel, Gertrude S. Fleischman, Albert V. Fried, Leo Friedman, Bertha Friedman, Sarah Grossman, Robert V. Haas, Luella F. Cohn, Ronald Madow, Sam Miller, Bob Newman, Robert David Rosewater, Harold Samet, Alfred H. Schaffner, Helen L. Schwartz, Louis H. Schwarzenberg, Elaine Shagrin, Stanley H. Shensa, Cheryl Sitnick, Molly R. Steele, and Eli Zweig. We say of them all, Zichronam Livracha, may each of their memories be a blessing, as we rise for the Kaddish on page 294 and take into our hearts and prayers all those you have loved and lost as well. Yitzgadal v'yitzkadash shemei rabbah, bi'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mivorach leolam omei omaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitramam v'yitnasa, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudasha b'richu, le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, da'amiran bi'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shamaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort all who are bereaved, as we say, Amen. You may all be seated as I call up Marjorie Mazo, who is a member of our exec board and has some announcements. Oh, yes, wait, hold on. There you go.
And in both places.
I did. Okay. I only muted it in one.
Good evening, Shabbat Shalom. It's great to see you all. Okay, forgive me because I have a lot to read. I'm going to go as fast as I can, but try to make it make sense. So first, thank you to Rabbi Nair and to Deb Rogers for a really wonderful service tonight. Thank you to Dory and Blair Haas for generously sponsoring tonight's beautiful beam of flowers in memory of Philip J. Braff. And as always, a huge thanks to our dedicated STKA staff and leadership. Okay, announcements. Our Suburban Temple-Kol Ami Modim list is up in the lobby. It's a list of all members who have increased their open doors by commitment by 5%. Thank you to all who have done that. The 7th year of our tent begins this Sunday, October 1st. We are excited to announce that we surpassed last year's attendance with our enrollment for this year. Please don't forget to stay afterwards for pizza and help decorate the sukkah, which we've already helped, but there will be more decorating. We also want to put in a plug to remember our gatherings, a newer line of programming. It's a congregant-led program, and it's a really great way to connect with other congregants with similar interests outside of the temple. It's fun, it's laid back, it's low-key, and the two we have going on now are Hike and Kibbutz, which, exactly as it sounds, we meet one Sunday a month at a local hiking spot, and I guess there's kibbutzing. And then Foodies Unite, meeting up at local restaurants, checking out new places, favorites, and everything in between, sounds great. So if you're interested in either of those, go to our Suburban Temple homepage and look for gatherings. You may need to scroll a little bit. Follow the link to find information and sign up. And if you have questions, you can contact the office, and they'll get you in touch with Ellen Ross or Alyssa Katz, who are the folks who are leading that. Happy to answer your questions. And if you have an idea for a new gathering, let them know, because they're looking for ideas and for people to lead them. If you did not pick up your copy of Can We Talk About Israel, your copy should now be on the table out in the lobby. If you can't find it, let the office know. Please join us next Friday for Simchat Torah, and a huge thank you to Deb Rogers, pre-Oneg at 5. And finally, please join us tonight after services for Oneg, which will be in our sukkah. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shalom.
Yeah. New career. Our closing song is called Under the Sukkah, and even if the words are not familiar, the tune should be.
Yes, this is by Julie Silver. This is not a Deb Rogers parody. This is a Julie Silver parody. Oh, when the month of Tishrei comes, you know it's true. And the autumn sun beats down and shines upon you. Under the sukkah, just wait for me, yeah. And we'll spend Sukkot together, that's where we'll be. You know what's coming. Under the sukkah, shake the lulav under the sukkah. Shake it with the etrog. Under the sukkah, we'll celebrate. Don't those veggies look great under the sukkah? Sukkah. Can you see the gourds of yellow, gold, and red? Oh, how I love to see the cranberries hang above your head. Under the sukkah, just wait for me, yeah. And we'll spend Sukkot together, that's where we'll be. Help me out here. Under the sukkah, shake the lulav. Shake it with the etrog. We'll celebrate. Don't those veggies look great under the sukkah? Sukkah. Now they say the Jews were wandering in deserts dry. But through the roof of their flimsy booth, they saw stars up in the sky. Under the sukkah, just wait for me, yeah. And we'll spend Sukkot together, that's where we'll be. Under the sukkah, shake the lulav. Shake it with the etrog. We'll celebrate. Those veggies look great under the sukkah. Sukkah. Little comic relief in the back. Don't worry about it.
Brett's got a whole new career. Please rise for the closing benediction and Motzi.
Yevarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and keep you.
Yair Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May God's face always shine in your faces, guiding and sustaining you.
Yis Adonai panav elecha ve'yasem lecha shalom ve'yasem lecha shalom.
And may God always be with you and bless you with peace. Peace in your hearts, peace in your home, and peace in our world. As together we say, Amen.
Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our prayer is humbly said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. B'te'avon.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. Head out to the sukkah.